Okay. Oh, phew. This is hard work, Larry.
Yeah. Do you got anything in that drink to help you get through it?
Oh, that's another thing you should probably, if you've seen my social media, I've become the little Red Bull addict.
You're listening to 515, the Ultra Podcast, the show that invites you into the lives of people who make up the Ultra family. Here's your host for these conversations, Larry Ryan.
Thanks, MJ. Today's guest is an athlete in profile for the upcoming UM Australia race. For anyone juggling work, family, and endurance dreams, this athlete's path offers a practical template to go longer, stronger, and happier. My guest today uses her sport to help her cope with the trauma she deals with on a daily basis in her day job as an emergency critical care nurse. She has competed in over a dozen half Ironmans and 2 full Ironmans, as well as podiumed at the Ultra 355 Australia and competed in 2 full distance 515 UM Australia races. She joins me today from Brisbane as an athlete in profile for the 2026 UM Australia, which is happening in Noosa this coming May. Welcome to the podcast, Erica Riley.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for joining us and working out the time delay that it takes to get the Australian people on with me here in Vancouver. I appreciate that.
No, it's all good. It's middle of the day here for us, so it's no sweat on my end.
Yeah, and here we're just in the evening, so it works out well on this particular hour. It's great. So, Erica, I've been following you on Instagram since last year when you were giving back to the Ohana by working as the race medic at UM Australia, and I was doing the live stream for it. And since I've been following you, my first question that comes up to you or comes up for you is, when do you actually sleep? Because, or do you sleep? Because it seems to me that you have at least 4 full-time jobs. From what I can tell from what you post online, you're a critical care nurse. You train probably, I'm guessing, at least a full-time job. You're doing coaching now, and you also post to social media about the other 3 on a regular basis. So when do you sleep?
That's an excellent question, Larry. I do sleep. I promise I do sleep, but some days, are longer than others. It just comes down to time management techniques, which is actually one of the big things that I try and teach my own athletes. Like, time management is key. And once you learn some of those unique skills, it can be easy. And it's just about, like, anything that is of high priority, you have to allocate time for. So usually by the end of the day, not everything on the to-do list is done. But like you said, my life is very busy, but the key things are done usually when I go to bed at night. So yes, I do sleep.
And I'm guessing you must go to bed fairly early because a lot of your posts start with you at 4 a.m.
Yeah, the 3 a.m. wake ups is something that I actually haven't really let go of since the second Ultraman, to be honest with you, purely because that was just the time available to me to train around shift work. So it just sort of stuck, and now I just enjoy it. Start early, finish early, they say in Queensland. So.
And with your job, how does it work out for your shift work? Are you like 4 days on, really long shifts, and 4 days off, or what do you do?
So for a very long time, Larry, I was on full-time, nearly full-time equivalent nursing hours, which sort of works out to 3 12-hour shifts per week. So because they're stretched out to 12 hours instead of an 8-hour workday, you can combine all those hours into 3. So whether you do 3 not 12-hour night shifts on the bounce or 3 day shifts, you can still utilize the rest of those days off. But I do work a 24/7 rotating roster. So nights, days is good when it's 12s, but if you're working less than that, then it's any time of the day or evening, really. So yeah.
And you work as an emergency critical care nurse. What exactly is that in comparison to like other nursing?
Oh, well, basically I work in emergency, and I have done for my entire nursing career. I haven't really worked anywhere else. I've dabbled in teaching and a bit of management here and there, but basically it's, I'm either in the resus room accepting category 1, category 2 patients, whether I'm at a trauma hospital or not. I'm triage competent, so I'm the face of the organisation when you come to the window and you're distressed and want to see a doctor. So yeah, I just focus on emergency mostly, and my specialty is advanced life support teaching for other nurses. Okay. So I do teach as well. Yeah, so mostly resus and triage and in charge. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I can understand why living in that world, you need an outlet somewhere else. And I'm guessing that's why you've turned to triathlon.
Oh, absolutely, Larry. And at the time, so when I first started embracing the sport was about 2015, I would say. And I was only, 5 years into my nursing career at that point. And you sort of see in those high trauma hospitals quite a lot of confronting cases are very regular with big tertiary centres. And so the nursing cohort tend to go down, there's like a split in the road. And it's like, how are we coping with what we see every day? And some folk turn to either leaving critical care and go into easier work. Some people embrace like holidays or travel and that type of thing, partying, and some other people embrace exercise as an outlet. And so I went down that route, and I used triathlon as just something else to focus on outside of work. I needed something that was my identity, that wasn't like, oh, critical care emergency is my identity. I'm like, no, that's my profession.
Right.
That's not who I am.
Yeah. Well, you're saying that you've been in this for quite a while now, which means that you went through COVID as well as a nurse. And I know down in Australia, you had some of the, strictest lockdown rules in the world as far as not being able to leave your own neighborhood. In your case, I'm guessing it probably affected you a little bit as well, because I know in your first UM Australia race, you ran your last 5K in PPE in order to honor those frontline healthcare workers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I did. It was, look, let's just say Melbourne lockdown was one of the toughest things I've ever experienced professionally, for sure. Absolutely. And personally, like I was in Melbourne at the time and living alone, and for the start of it anyway. And, I was in hotel quarantine in 2020, and it was like, there's certain things I can't disclose here, obviously, because of the government and whatnot with rules, but it was a hard time. And I remember turning around to my colleague in one of the hotels, and I was like, I think this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And she turned around to me, she's like, well, you do Ironmans, don't you? That's pretty tough. And I'm like, this is harder than Ironman, I swear to God. And then we had a little bit of a conversation, and she said, well, you should find something that's harder than Ironman and show COVID who's boss. And then that's when we put into Google and we found out what Ultraman was. And the rest is history, as they say. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure many people have Googled what is harder than Ironman and come up with Ultraman.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly how it happens.
Yeah. So,
And like we had all like the marks on our faces and everything when it happened, and we were just sweaty and getting the stuff off. And I'm like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And we were just having a tantrum. It was quite funny.
yeah. And how was it to train during that time? Because I'm assuming you didn't give up your training.
No, I didn't. No, I did not. So basically, I was taken under the wing of my coach at the time, who is actually now a fellow competitor for UM 26.
And who's that? Let's drop some names here.
Yeah, so that's Nestor Alejandro Riviera.
Oh, yes.
My Colombian friend who I was team captain for. Yes. So I joined his tri club during COVID, and that's where we first met. And so we tried our very best, and I was grateful that I lived in Port Melbourne at the time. So the bay was actually within my 5-kilometer radius bubble. So I could still swim in Port Phillip Bay without leaving my radius, which was not breaking any rules. The indoor trainer, we have become best friends. I think the longest I ever did on that thing was 8.5 hours on the kicker. And home strength workouts, just virtually through Zoom with him.
Mm-hmm.
And running, we were allowed to run within our 5-kilometer radius, but we couldn't exercise for longer than 1 hour per day. But however you chose to commute to work for your employment, if you were still working, was your choice.
Right.
So then to increase run volume, it was a lot of maybe not so direct routes to the hospital from home, running. So, some days I might run 3 times a day just because we included the commute, because work commutes weren't breaking any lockdown rules.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's the only way we could increase the volume.
I know that you post a lot of your workouts with videos on Instagram. I've been seeing these as well, just in talking about your workouts. So now you're free to do as many workouts as you want, and you seem to do a lot. And you really enjoy.
I'm about to say, but no, I'm not.
Oh.
I've gotten lazy in my old age.
You really seem to enjoy the reformer Pilates workouts that you do. That seems to be every week. There's another video with that. I did that one time and I thought it was super hard. Why have you made that such an integral part of your training?
It is hard. So reformer Pilates has been an absolute game changer for me as an athlete, and not even, mentally. Mentally, it gives me a beautiful time to zen out. I get it, but it's actually hard work. When you do it properly, it's a strength workout. But at the same time, being triathletes, let alone ultra athletes, right? Our time is precious. We have X amount of time dedicated to swim, bike, run. And the way that I see it is triathlon has more than just 3 disciplines, and strength and conditioning is an essential one.
Mm-hmm.
But in saying that, injury prevention is key. So reformer Pilates allows you to gain lean mass, get strong, and helps with conditioning and injury prevention within one 45-minute window.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of longevity in the sport and athletic performance, it's just so beneficial on so many levels that I even incorporate it for my own athletes now, at least 2 to 3 times a week if they're willing.
Oh, yeah. And what's your schedule? How many times are you going?
More than my coach would like me to.
And who's your coach?
Yeah.
You're coaching people. Who's your coach?
My coach. So I think because this is going to probably be my last rodeo as an ultra athlete, Larry. I'm going to be this is probably going to be my last hurrah. I really love and embrace the Australian Ultraman dream team and the crew. And I've gone full circle with it now, being an athlete twice myself, and then I was team captain for another athlete, and then I was the medic this year.
Right.
And just to be part of the Ultraman family is just such an honour. So I thought there was no one else who could coach me besides someone within that space. So Tim Franklin from Koa Sports is my coach, purely for that Ultraman connection that we have together.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. For people that don't know, Tim has also raced there numerous times. He's the man who ran around the world and is now the voice of UM Australia when he does all the announcing for the race down there. So he's definitely well connected to that thought process and that Ohana down there in Australia. And that makes sense that you would go to a coach like that to keep you tied to the community. Does he bring anything different to coaching you that you would, first of all, as a coach, be like, I don't know about that, but then maybe you try it out? Or how does that conversation go?
How does that conversation go? Well, it's a very difficult question to answer. I find it that I do have to put my athlete hat on and not my coach hat. So I need to, and that's fine because he knows that I'm ready to go up a level, I guess, like have not just finish, but to actually compete in this round, which is different from what I've done previously. So my last two races were more like just aim to finish,
right? Where
this time it's I'm going to go out with Thor's hammer, just slam. So I think he is going to be able to give me that increased performance that I'm looking for.
Okay.
And he is with Koa Sports that are quite renowned for the results that they obtain. So I think that it's a smart move for me as an athlete. But definitely there's been some side-eye emojis sent his way about like, really? Am I doing that? And he's like, yes, just do what I say. And so I'm like,
That's great. That's great. And he's got so much personality that I'm sure he tells it to you with a lot of love.
I'm not sure if it's with a lot of love. He just tells me. But no, he does. He said he would take care of me, and I believed him when he said that. So I agreed to take him on as my coach for that reason.
Yeah. I did look up your previous times. You were a 33:18:53.
Terrible.
In 2021 and a 32:39. So you improved by almost an hour, but I'm guessing you have some loftier goals from what you just said. Are you willing to share any of the goals that you have for this year?
So there was a few factors with my time from last time that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say here, but I did crunch the numbers and I did the math about how much time I actually lost for female health reasons. Took a lot of time on my accumulated time. So, which I won't have that issue this race. So it'll be interesting to see if the math in my mind is correct. I also think that because of Reformer and because my nutrition has totally changed, my whole life has totally changed since the last race. So I've reduced a lot of stresses. My shift work is a bit more balanced. My nutrition's totally different. I'm stronger in terms of my body composition. So I think my aim is just to do a lot better than previously. But we'd like a top end female finish.
Nice.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Get back on the podium like you did at 355.
Oh, I didn't want to say the P word.
You didn't say it. You're good.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about your nutrition. Obviously, there's two parts to nutrition. There's your daily nutrition while you're training and things like that. And are you plant-based? Is that what you are?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how that goes for your meal prepping and how that has changed your ability to, work with your daily life stresses and things like that, and change to plant-based. Obviously, you feel it's better. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I've actually been plant-based since 2011. Okay. I'd like to say.
All right.
Regardless of whether I'm plant-based or not, it was just nutritional habits, proper macro tracking, things that every athlete should probably do that I've changed.
Right.
And it's changed my body composition dramatically. So in 12 months, I lost about 3 liters of visceral fat. I went from, I gained 2.3 kilos in lean mass, and I reduced, I lost 6 kilos altogether, and I lost, this is all just off the top of my head, I think it was like 5.8% total body fat. So I think that for any athlete that would change how they perform in general. But it was just simple things like eating more whole foods, increasing my protein intake every day, just other types of supplements and things like that, like just to help.
Right.
So I think that that's definitely enhanced my performance as an athlete.
I was going to say, do you have any go-to kind of websites or something where you get your recipes? Because I know for some people, the idea of taking on a plant-based diet is like, I wouldn't know how to prepare the food enough to support me.
Yeah. So I initially, early on in the piece, referred to a guy who is quite famous in the podcast space. He was a physio turned masters of nutrition. His name's Simon Hill. I'm not sure if you know him. He has a podcast called The Proof.
No.
Okay. So he's a huge advocate for nutrition and longevity and that type of research.
Right.
And he has a whole website full of plant-based recipes. He's even redesigned the whole food pyramid. And that type of thing. So I just followed a lot of his resources initially, and now it's just become habit, really. I do tend to get quite boring and have the same meals on rotation.
Yeah.
For example, I've just done my meal prep for the next 4 days because I'm working 4 shifts in a row. So the fridge is full. It's just going to be the same thing on rotation day in, day out for the next couple of days. Yeah. But, I think that's just the key. It just stops that type of and I think in the endurance space too, sometimes you just don't realize how behind the 8 ball you are if it's been like a high volume week and you're just constantly just going for whatever. But at least the meal prep sort of, when you have those moments, it's like, I'm going to go for whatever, but in my allocated stash of stuff.
Right. Yeah. And now as you're preparing for UM Australia in May, we are here at the end of November as we record this. It'll be coming out in December. Where are you in your cycle for preparing for that? Where's your volume at now? Like, when will you reach your maximum hours in a week, and what will that look like for you as far as swim, bike, run, breakdown, and other training, because you like to do all the other cross training as well?
Yes. So I do have a feeling that Tim is going to reduce my allocated Pilates time. That's just a given. I've actually, Larry, I've got a extreme Ironman triathlon happening here in February.
Oh, okay.
So I'm training for that at the moment. And so that's sort of like iron distance kind of volume.
Right. What's the name of that one?
Called the Alpine Ascent Extreme Tri in Mount Kosciuszko. So that's sort of like a very cold lake swim, all altitude ride up into the ski fields in our highest peak here in Australia, like the Kosciuszko National Park. And then it's a marathon trail run up to the summit.
Okay. Yeah. So have you put in a training peak to prepare for that as well then? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of going to be like my lead-in race. So I have a feeling that my volume will significantly increase in about December. A lot of speed work currently. So, yeah, I'm hoping it'll get up to about 30 hours a week maximum.
Okay.
Usually that's what happened my last two. So it should be around 30 is the peak. 17 will be low. Around them 20 will be average.
Mm-hmm. And of the three disciplines, which one do you need to improve your time on the most, and how much extra focus will you give to that?
Swim. Me and the pool are not friends right now. We will be. We will become close friends over the summer.
Yeah.
But right now, she's a mission. So, yeah, no, definitely my swim. Like, my form is okay, and I do strongly believe that Pilates has helped make so even though I'm not swimming as much as I probably should be, I feel like the strength that I'm getting with Pilates makes those swims easier when I get there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And do you know who you'll be bringing for your crew? Do you have any experience coming? Do you have people coming back from previous races?
So Nesta has always been my team captain. So with him racing, I was just like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I rang him when I saw the application. I was like, bro, we've been each other's team captain. Like, what are we going to do? So I actually have asked, and I think this is basically the first announcement of this, but with the growth of my business and my coaching business, I will need assistant coaches in the not too distant future. So one of my athletes who has just done Ironman World Champs at Kona, actually, she got there on her very first Ironman attempt.
Oh, wow.
Hayley, sweet Hayley. She's going to be my team captain for me.
Excellent. And she has dreams of doing Ultraman herself?
Of it. I have a feeling she will, yes. Yeah. So she's going to team captain this round. And it's funny, when it was the morning of the athlete breakfast before Ultraman this year had kicked off, the first day when all the athletes arrive and they do the course conversation and everything, I was standing alongside the auditorium hall with the rest of the dream team. And I just looked over across the other side of the room and I messaged Andrew Trout and I said, buckle up. You better get the van ready. I'm booking you now. And he's like, this race hasn't even started yet. And I'm like, I'm booking you now.
Nice.
Yeah, so I scored Trouty.
That's the way you got to do it down there, I think.
So for Andrew. Oh, absolutely. He is a hot commodity, that man.
Yeah.
He is there is a waiting list for Andrew Trout.
Oh, yeah.
So I booked him nice and early.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
I'll have Andrew, I'll have Hayley and her partner, and then a few of my close friends from Brisbane are coming up. to be as part of the crew. And then we have Nesta's community club, the Happy Thoughts team. They're going to donate some of their members between the two of us to assist us.
Excellent.
Yeah. So we're going to have a whole contingency up there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hello, listener. I love getting your feedback and suggestions for the podcast. Keep them coming at 515ultraman@gmail.com. For those that want to help me promote the show, I suggest that you tell a friend to listen to. Word of mouth is a great way for podcasts to get new listeners. And if you don't mind publishing your feelings, a free way to support the show is by leaving a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app. It's a chance to tell me what you love about the show, and it helps others discover it too. Finally, if you're so inclined, you can show your appreciation for my work by clicking the support link at the bottom of the show notes to go to my Buy Me a Coffee page. Thanks for all of your feedback and support. Now back to the show. Well, when I was looking back at some of your older Instagram postings from 2021 and the material that you were producing, not you, because you were racing, but your crew were producing, it was awesome. And it's the kind of stuff that I want to have in the live stream this year. So one of the things I learned from last year's live stream was that asking people to send in a video and then trying to look at it and edit and post and all of that while I'm at the same time directing and commentating and wasn't working. So this year's plan for people that are listening is just going to be to open the Zoom link to all the crews so that they can just join direct in, no sending in videos. They can just click in right into the Zoom with us and we'll put them on air and show what's going on live at the time.
That is so good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
exciting.
I hope you got some people that are good with the camera again to take on that role.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. We're going to have a whole proper vlog system happening.
Now, when we were talking about your own coaching, let's get the name out there because maybe some people want to know about this and contact you. So
my business name is called Synergy Sports Coaching, at Synergy Sports Coaching, all one word. You'll find that in Instagram in the bio. And I really thought long and hard about how and why I'm going to go into the coaching space. And it was literally from all the Ultraman footage from the past two. It was like all the DM in just like, how do you do this? How do you have time for that? Just people just wanting advice. And my now ex-husband actually said to me at the time, he's like, you should be getting paid for that. He's like, why are you just speaking to this is all your like hack secrets. And I'm like, well, maybe, and I was a bit burnt out from the pandemic as well, to be fair. So I was like, if I can generate something that allows me to just nurse a little bit less, that's something that I'm still passionate about, then I'll give it a go. And it's actually turned out to be quite amazing, actually. Sometimes I just sort of I log into Training Peaks and I'm like, this is just surreal to me still. I'm just absolutely so grateful for everyone who's decided to come on board and trust me the way that they do. It's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful experience. Yeah.
And when you decided to get into the coaching field, then did you go out and get certifications to back that up, or are you just going with your knowledge from being an athlete?
No, I did. So I got the Training Peaks certifications, and I'm with they used to be called Triathlon Australia, but Oz Triathlon, the coaching courses that they deliver as part of onboarding education and coach registration, because all athletes with Triathlon Australia have to be either you join as a member or you can have a coach membership. So I just started to go down that trajectory. And I've done sports nutrition now as well.
Excellent. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I kind of liken coaches to teachers in that, all of them have different strengths or different ideas for delivery, different ways of connecting with the athlete. What do you think is your strength and your way of connecting that if people were thinking about, oh, do I want to, see what Erica's all about? How would you describe yourself to someone who wants to find out about that?
I think I sort of describe myself as someone who, I understand that a lot of coaches have all of the kudos behind them and the undeniable proof that they, have had lots of podium finishes and et cetera, et cetera. I think that my proof that it can be done and what Synergy actually stands for is dedicated to the recreational athlete. It's dedicated to the parents who don't know what to do with their the spare time that they have.
Right.
I'm designed for the shift workers who just don't know how to get around proper sleep hygiene for their night shifts and how do I still train around that. Mm-hmm. I'm designed for the busy professional. How do I time manage properly? I have an endless to-do list. How can you possibly expect me to do this when I have all these meetings? And it's like, well, let's just take a deep breath, because the only way that you can succeed as a recreational athlete is the rest of your life has to work in synergy, like wheels in a cog together.
Right.
Or the whole thing will break and you won't be able to do anything to full capacity. So when I speak to athletes, we use Training Peaks like a diary. It's your personal assistant. It's not just a place where you data dump a cookie cutter program and say, just do it.
Right.
It's a place where my athletes can say, oh, my kid's got swimming between 4 and 6. I'm working between 2 and 3. These are my, and we time box technique the entire week.
Right.
To then create that consistency in their training that gives them the results that they're after.
And I'm guessing within that, you're teaching them to prioritize that training as much as they would the other parts of their lives. And get that box on the calendar.
Yep. Because in my first and second Ultraman, it was, like I said, pandemic stuff was the first one. I'd just become a full-time stepmom for the first time. It was a lot. And so I've lived it. I feel it. I get the pressure. But let's just do a bit of self-care for the athlete. And, you wouldn't miss a Zoom meeting with your boss.
Right.
So if you've allocated this time to yourself, that is your meeting that you will not miss for yourself. If your Zwift rides at 4 a.m., that's the meeting time.
Right.
So we tend to look at it with that type of mindset. And it does take a lot of the athletes a few weeks to get a hold of that concept. But once it's, I think I told one of the other athletes, we don't want to try and make your life work around triathlon. Triathlon has to integrate into your pre-existing life.
Yeah. That's perfect.
So how do we best do that? Yeah, that's it.
And obviously you live that life. We've been talking about all the different things that you do and how it seems like you don't sleep, but you do get sleep. Within that,
I promise I sleep.
Within that, you have said that you have an overachiever syndrome still. So you're still working at trying to get as much done as you can from time to time. That's not that's not unique in the 5:15 world. But where do you think it comes from for you?
No, exactly. The overachieving.
Yeah.
I definitely think it comes from definitely my childhood. Don't get me wrong, I've had an amazing childhood, amazing. But I am a middle child. So it's, forever the comparison to your siblings growing up, and that validation that you need when you do something really well.
Right.
And it's just, that's one of those things that I've taken into adulthood. And to be quite honest with you, even in my professional life, you know, you can either be that nurse that rocks up and does the bare minimum, or do you want to be that nurse that does everything? That nurse that when people are in trouble, they go, Erica will know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just every little sort of life journey that I've taken, it's stitched itself in there somewhere.
Yeah. So it's been a benefit to you throughout your life, despite being something that might be seen as a bit too much. It's you're embracing the benefits of it rather than the times where it might be more of a challenge.
So I think until I really started to do a lot of deep work on myself before my first Ironman, to be honest, in 2019, so it was pre-pandemic. From 2017 to 2019, I did do quite a lot of therapy. And I learned about my attachment style and things like that. And I think the overachieving perfectionism was more of a hindrance up until that point.
Oh yeah.
But then when I did the healing and the inner work, the perfectionism that ended up being procrastination actually turned into a perfectionism that was enhancing to my life, and allowed my hyper independence to be a bit more of a superpower to achieve my goals in racing and in life, and without being a hindrance to me. But I think unless I did that work, it would have ended up just being an endless loop of, I'm not going to do anything with my life because I can't do it perfectly. That's sort of where I was stuck.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not try, rather not do it, than if I couldn't do it perfectly or have the optimal result for whatever it was that I did. But now I think like posting content, for example, I don't care if it looks like rubbish. I'm just going to do it. And if you don't want to see it, you don't have to see it. But if you see it still and don't like it, it benefits me. So why would I not do it?
Yeah. No, your content's great.
So it's a bit more of a healthy channel now with the hyper independence, for sure.
Right. Yeah. You know, you've been giving us some great information on coaching, and people listening to the podcast, they always want tips. They want ideas. They want, you know, how are you training? What are you using for nutrition? All that stuff. Where do you race? What's my next great race? So one of the things that I would like to find out from you, you've done quite a bit of 70.3s, 2 Ironmans, a couple Ultramans. Other than the Ultraman, because I know that's everybody's favorite. Can you tell me?
Yes, it's everyone's favorite.
where have you raced, and maybe what's been one of your favorites that you've done? Not necessarily because it was a great race for you, but you know, hey, this is a great travel race. Go here, check this out.
So I have to say, one of my favorite races I've ever done. Not even sure if it exists anymore. Was a challenge event of all things. It was Challenge Nha Trang, which is a city in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So racing in Vietnam was amazing. The water temperature was 28 degrees. It rained. It was like 100% humidity. It was awesome. But here in Australia, I'd have to say the most iconic race, and I would just go back every year if I can, is Ironman Cairns. Yeah, Cairns is just iconic.
Yeah. That's I know every Aussie I speak to, they love that one, and WA as well. If you know the ones that get out that side.
Oh, WA, yes, and no. I mean, you wouldn't want to get a flat tire on those roads because the flies will just be you won't even be able to see to change a tire. You just, those flies just boom, they're hectic. But the swim is gorgeous in Busselton. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I jumped over this, and I meant to ask you earlier when we were talking about food as well. What about race nutrition? Where are you on that, and what sorts of things are you taking that you find will help maybe bump someone up from that iron to ultra if they need it, or if you're like Simon Cochrane, I do what I do for Ironman because I'm on the course for the same amount of time. But for other people, what kind of nutrition do you employ when you're doing an ultra?
So I have the same concept as Simon, to be fair. Like, I use a company called Infinite Nutrition, and I have a custom mix made by Infinite. And my concentration of how much I have per bottle can be, either stronger or weaker, depending. So I pretty much will do most of the Ultraman weekend with Infinite, and then have the occasional solids, which will be changing for this next race for the first time since what I would normally have. And I think everyone loves like the emergency Coca-Cola. I like Fanta.
Oh.
So my crew always have
what flavor of Fanta are you having?
Oh, orange.
Orange.
Okay. Always orange. But I remember like I was so close to the end for the last one, and my crew did like a Ferrari pit stop because my stomach was starting to reject the Infinite a little bit. I was just like, I think I'm capped out. And it was just salty chips and Fanta got me through to the end.
Nice. And then what strategy do you use in the evenings to refuel?
Oh, okay. So I basically do all of my meal prep for my crew before I leave, or I tell them exactly what I want them to cook. And it's usually very simple. I have pasta, but usually like a buckwheat pasta, and I make a high protein like bolognese sauce with something called textured vegetable protein. So it's like intense, like just dehydrated soy basically that you turn into a mince. So it's super easy for the whole crew. You just add water, just rehydrate it and just cook it like normal mince. Yeah. And I try not to actually change my regular diet too much. If I'm not having the pasta, there's also something that I had for my races that Nesta ended up taking into his race when we were team captain for him. And it was something called Erica's Donuts, which were literally just like rice cakes with peanut butter and jam.
Okay.
Just something crunchy, something fatty, something with a bit of sugar, just to put a solid in the belly, and then just back onto the Infinite after that.
So quite a bit different than the donuts you get on is it the day 2 course?
Yes, at Kenilworth Bakery.
Yes.
Yes. Nice. They are delicious.
So looking ahead now, you said that this Ultraman Australia is probably going to be your final hurrah. But then, they did come out and announce this thing called UM New Zealand. If you're not racing it, what's going to be your connection?
Well, they're going to always need a medic.
Yeah.
Or a volunteer of some description. I'll put the cones out.
You're going to be the cone girl.
I can be... Yeah, the cone girl. What else can I do? I can just be the emotional support for the dream team. They'll find a place for me, I'm sure. Yeah. I am sure that the race directors will have a good purpose for my being there.
Yeah. But you're not walking away from the UM family. You're sticking with it.
Oh, never. They're stuck with me for life.
Well, you did move up to Brisbane just to be around this, right?
Absolutely. Brisbane is where it's at. It's a great place to live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although I understand you grew up in Alice Springs. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was there for a bit. Yeah.
What's it
Grew
like
up.
in the
When did
outback?
we move? Oh, you never know unless you go. It's something else. Yeah, for sure. No, I loved growing up in Alice Springs. It was definitely life a life experience that has helped make me who I am.
Mm.
You sort of have a bit more of an understanding of what the real world is like
How do you mean?
when you how do I say this politely without ruffling feathers? I think people think of Australia, and there's quite a lot of the population who live on the East Coast who have been to more overseas countries than to destinations in their own country, if you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
Like, people like to show the world their beautiful front yard with a picket fence, but they don't want to take a look in their own backyard. Some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful out there, honestly. And it's just the clearest of skies. Just you can see so many stars. It's just one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Yeah. Well, I did a year teacher exchange in Australia, went all around the country, flew into Alice Springs to go up to Uluru. And that is the hottest I've ever been. When I got out of the car I think it's a National Crater Park or something. There's some giant crater. Got out of the car. The air conditioning was on in the car. Got out of the car, and it was like being thrown into an oven.
Yep, absolutely. Bring on the heat.
Yeah. Now that would be an extreme triathlon area.
Well, they do have a great tri club there. Actually, there's an amazing tri club there, and they do this fantastic event, which is one of the best things I've ever done in my life, called the Kings Canyon Cruise. And the Alice Springs Cycling Club organize support buses. They have everyone gets a swag, everyone cooks, and you ride from Alice Springs out to Kings Canyon over 3 days.
Mm.
And then the bus brings you back from the resort back to Alice Springs.
Oh, yeah.
And you just ride in a peloton for all day.
I assume that's in the winter.
It's fun. Yes, it is.
And do you're riding at night? How do you beat the heat?
No, it's maybe this is why I still wake up at 3 a.m., Larry, because it was, again, one of those things where it's if you don't want to see any of the parentes or the goannas or the snakes, you got to get out early.
Yeah.
You're out riding.
That's great. Yeah. Well, Erica, thank you for being my first athlete in profile for UM Australia coming up. Good luck with the rest of your training. And let's make sure that we follow you on Instagram. What was your handle again?
Oh, I've got a fair few, but you can follow me at Synergy Sports Coaching on Insta. All
right. We will follow you there and watch the build up to the race.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good summer.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Larry. Bye.
Hey, if you liked what you heard today, please tell a friend and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'd appreciate it if you'd rate and review the show while you're there. Drop the names of the people you think we should interview, and we'll get in touch with them and make that happen. Thank you for listening to 515, the Ultra Podcast, a production of 55 Enterprises. Now really, go subscribe now before you forget.